Shalom, family. Shalom. All right. We're going to go over an article that came out on ABC News. And we know Florida right now, although the governor down there is trying to obstruct what the real numbers are, is the epicenter in the country. There's no doubt about it. I mean, they're doing very badly down there. And, one thing about these folks, when things are going bad, they don't know how to switch gears. They defiantly try to go down the same path, and they're ultimately ending up getting destroyed by doing things like that. And actually, I kind of feel sorry for the kids because they can't make their own decisions. Their parents are making these decisions, and it's really not helping them at all. It's not helpful to these kids at all. So let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, please give me a 1 if you can see the screen. Thank you. Thank you, Jamal Bey. I can always count on you. All right. Thank you, everybody. And let's get to it right here. All right. So this is ABC News. This is August 13th, 2021. Now, we know schools have started early in some places, and in other places, they're pretty much maintaining their regular start of their school year. Now, this is Palm Beach County, Florida. They opened the schools this past Monday. And in 2 days, they had to shut down. Now, anytime you have to shut down that quickly after getting started, I even think a week is outrageous to start the school, and all of a sudden you got to shut everything down. So, one official at the school said the governor got to take responsibility for rules, one official said. So a total of 440 students have been quarantined in Palm Beach County, Florida, due to CV just 2 days after the start of school. So this is the start of the school year. The Palm Beach County School District told ABC News. The district kicked off the school year and they started their in-person classes for the first time since last March. And it has turned into a disaster already. The district requires face coverings inside the school and buses for all students unless their parents opt out of the requirement, as well as staff. But that didn't stop CV from affecting the return to school. So far, 134 confirmed CV cases among 26 employees and 108 among students within the school district, according to its CV dashboard. The district told ABC News 6,379 students out of its estimated 167,000 pupils. So, ladies and gentlemen, they said 3.8% opted out of wearing masks as of Thursday. So a student, Caden Hart, a sophomore at Dwyer High School, is one of the students quarantining after both of her parents tested positive for the virus. And see, that's never going to stop happening. There's always going to be somebody coming in that school with it. It is never going to end. It's going to be an endless cycle, only because it's just too many people closed in together. School buildings are not made for social distancing. It's not. I mean, they're trying to do it, but you can see even in their best effort, it's just not good enough at all. Wow. So, of course, many of them are worried and they're struggling with quarantining, and they're saying the students are falling behind. Well, that's going to happen. As long as there's a pandemic going on, you can expect the students to be behind. You can't get around that. What happens when kids start getting COVID again? You're going to have to send them home and go to virtual classes. That's what you're going to have to do. That's what you're going to have to do. And they're missing 2 weeks of school. They're missing all of these lessons and stuff that they're going to need. So the superintendent, Michael J. Burke, said that he'll revisit the facial covering requirement every 30 days and adjust accordingly. Currently, the school does not offer the same level of virtual learning that it did last year. This year, students do have the option for virtual school, but it's independent and it does not have live instruction. So they probably have, okay, since they don't have live instruction, what I think they mean is they probably have everything pre-recorded and the students can just sit and watch it and do whatever assignments or work they have to do. So instead of having a live instructor, in a virtual class, they have it pre-recorded. Governor got to take responsibility for establishing the ground rules we're operating under, Burke said to MSNBC Thursday. And this ability for families to opt out is leading to more cases, which is ultimately going to send more kids home and deprive them of that traditional classroom experience. I don't know what is it, y'all? Why can't they accept you are not going to have things the way that it was in 2019? You are never going to have a traditional classroom setting because it is just too much going on right now. It's not going to happen. Last month, DeSantis issued an emergency order giving parents the final say over masks for kids in school. In a press conference last month, he said Florida students shouldn't be muzzled during the school year, adding, "We need them to be able to breathe." Several state leaders have sparred within the public over the mask mandates in school, and they're going to continue to do this. This is going to be their number one fight all throughout the school year, if they're able to make it that far, which I don't think they will be. The coronavirus crisis in the Sunshine State has worsened, with cases and hospitalizations climbing. Now, as you all know, I have an uncle that lives in Florida. He said there are a lot of children hospitalized in Florida right now. A lot of them are children. Okay, so the state has reported 134,506 new cases with the week of July 30th to August 5th, and 175 deaths, with a new case positivity rate of 18.9%. Among the new cases, more than 27,000 infections were among school-aged children, meaning those 19 years or younger, according to the state's latest CV report. There were 15,358 confirmed CV hospitalizations Thursday, according to the Florida Hospital Association, quickly surpassing Monday's count of 14,000. In this past week, Florida has had more cases than all 30 states, with the lowest rates combined. So Texas is also in there. They said Florida and Texas right now account for 40% of new cases and hospitalizations across the country. So If you are in Florida, I just hope that you do the right thing for your children and not just go along with anything that's thrown out there. You know, you really have to be the one making the decision and what's right for your children, not the governor, not any of these personnel people that never ever had your child's best interests at heart. They should not be making any decisions on the behalf of your child. That is really up to you. But yeah, Florida is in bad shape. It's in bad shape. And like I said, these folks don't think out of the box. They just continue down the same destructive path and try to take everybody with them. If common sense should tell you, if you are doing something and you see things are unraveling and falling apart, then you should have enough common sense to say, okay, we need to go in a different direction. This is not working. X what we're doing. Let's start from scratch and figure out a better way of doing this. They don't think like that. I can tell you that right now. I've been on jobs with these folks. They don't think like that. Or they'll come to you looking for an idea because they just simply can't come up with one themselves. So they'll just come. I can't tell you how many times they attempted to tap my brain. A lot. And at first I was naive and used to give up the goods. And then after a while, when I realized what was going on, I was like, shit, the hell with this. Even if I had a good idea, I wouldn't put it out there for them to grab. I wouldn't. Well, yeah. Um, there's a lot of places that are going to implement, mandates on the injection. They are. And you have to make a decision. There are look, y'all, go out there and start looking at job listings. They're even putting it in the job listing that if you don't have it, you can't work for, that particular company. They're starting to put it in the job listings, which I can see that being challenged in court, to be honest with you. Thank you, Kasim Meadows. Thank you so much for the super sticker. But you know what? It's just another form of discrimination. And that's all they've been practicing the whole time up in here. Now you just got a new thing on the list to discriminate over. That's all really it is. Yeah. RY, that's one thing. And you're correct about that. The biggest thing going on out here, one of the biggest things is workplace spread. Workplace spread is going on, and it's bad in America. And some places are shutting down for like a week or two for people to get better, and then they're reopening. But they're going to be doing that the whole year. It's just no way to hang on and not close. I mean, in fact, if you look at some articles out there, there are people you're already calling for this place to lock down. And I think that's going to grow stronger over the coming weeks. People are just like, this is not even worth it. Everybody is getting sick. Okay, so you don't shut down, right? You don't shut down. What is the end goal if there's workplace spread? So what are you gaining financially in your economy with a bunch of sick people out there? What are you gaining financially? Nothing. And if you stay open, it doesn't even give people chance enough to recuperate. How do you know everybody's going to be better in 2 weeks? How do you know? Some people, it lingers a lot longer than a week or two. It can last almost a whole month or even longer, depending on the individual. We don't know. And these employers don't know either. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, here in my state, they're planning on opening these schools. And it's already happening where the children are coming home with it and the whole family is now getting it. So it's turning into a big disaster in America. And I heard there's people up at the White House that are sick, just like it was during Trump. That same stuff is happening during Biden. I mean, I just love how they always try to keep silent on this stuff, but it's happening. I saw how I think one of Kamala's aides have tested positive and a few of the staff. Yeah, and I'm sure it's more than that now. But you can best believe they're going through the same thing. Even these people in these government jobs, they know damn well they're sitting up on them jobs and there's a lot of sick people sitting all around them and they know it. Yeah, Heather Gooch, a lot of those jobs out there are doing that now. That's very true. You said my job is now mandating the vaccine. Yeah, many of them are now. And if you are already employed and you won't get it, they are firing you. And before you get hired, you got to have it. So, yeah, so what they're going to ultimately try to do is anybody that don't have it, they're going to try to financially bankrupt you. That's what they're going to do. Oops. Sorry. So that's what they're planning on doing is financially bankrupting anybody that won't go along with it. Hmm. I think ultimately around here they're trying to start after Labor Day, but I think ultimately they're going to have to close everything down. They tried last year, y'all. I remember this time last year seeing the school buses back on the roads, and almost as fast as I saw them, they disappeared. Okay, they disappeared. It was almost like 1 week. I just kept seeing them driving all around the school buses and everything. And by the following week, it was I don't think I saw another school bus again. I might have seen them for maybe a week, 2 weeks tops, and after that, I didn't see them no more for the rest of the year. Saw no more school buses. I don't know. You may have to check, Donna, see if there are exemptions. I read some articles where they said they weren't going to allow that. So I don't know. Maybe it depends on the state. I'm not really clear on that. But I know in this particular situation, they really don't want to do exemptions. Yeah, but you know what? Always remember Vulcan 2050 full. Remember one thing, Mitch McConnell and them, they made it so you can't sue. So even if you can prove it came from your job and that's where you got sick, or somebody in your home got sick and had to be hospitalized, he said you can't sue. You can't sue, or they're going to make it so difficult for you to prove it. Not unless your job was the only place you went and came home. If you went to other places, they're going to say, well, you possibly picked it up there. You picked it up at the supermarket. You know what I mean? They made it impossible for you to sue these people if something goes wrong. And here's my thing about the employers that are requiring. Okay, so you make it a requirement, right? What if the person gets injected and die? And it was on your recommendation that they get it. See, the government has made it where you can't sue. So they can recommend you get it, and then your family can't do much about it. you know, or they'll just do the same thing we've seen all this time. Oh, they had a pre-existing condition. It wasn't the employer's recommendation. They already had a pre-existing. They'll wiggle their way out of it somehow, and that's really bad, especially for a couple or a single mother with small kids, and you're required to do this, and you get sick or possibly die. That's why they rush to put all that mess in place around the time when the two vaccines came out. They rush to get all that mess in place about you not being able to sue. You're right. Oh man. Yeah, well, a lot of people are leaving now, are leaving those jobs, and they're like, I'm not doing it. And that's what's happening around the country with nurses and medical personnel that's required. A lot of them are opting to leave. That's what they're doing. And America's going to be in trouble because, look, you're already shorthanded on medical personnel. I saw a story about a week ago. Thank you, Loveline, for the super sticker. I saw a story about a week ago, and it was out of Mississippi. Mississippi said they are so overwhelmed in their hospitals that they're on the verge of collapse. you know and then ultimately what happens is, because they're shorthanded, the few people they do have, they're working them into the ground. And I remember the first time around, they had so many people at the hospital, they would show occasionally patients laying in the hallway because they had no beds for them, so they had them laying in the hallway. And I remember looking at those photos from last year. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are going to do that. Mm-mm-mm. So, everybody, I'm not going to keep you any longer. I thank you for being here. And I'm sure these stories will be coming out every week about, I'm waiting for the ones in my state. That's what I'm looking for. So, after Labor Day, I'm looking to see what's going to happen in my state, because I have a feeling the same thing we see going on in Florida is going to happen here. They're going to open the schools, and within a week, all the kids are going to have to return back home. And then you'll hear oh, well, we're going to sterilize the building, and we're going to then open up. What good is that if somebody is walking in the door with it? What is your sterilized business going to do for that? And remember, a lot of it is airborne. So it doesn't matter what you sterilize, it's still going to be in the building. Somebody's going to still walk in with it. Del Monte Green Beans, thank you for the super chat. If they would keep education so expensive, there would be more personnel available. Yeah, well, they've always been a bunch of cheapskates up in here when it comes down to paying people. Except for each other. For each other, they'll pay them salaries they don't even deserve. But for us, they know how to get real stingy. So we'll see what happens. I mean, according to the paper, it's really getting worse in America, which I'm not surprised. And it's just going to be a lot of factors keeping it going. But if you look at the pattern of 2020 and 2021, it's pretty much parallel to what happened last year. It dropped in the spring, and it didn't completely go away, but there were less cases. And then when fall came, it went through the roof again. And we are seeing that same pattern play out in 2021. See, they thought 2020 was a bad year. 2021 is going to be worse. Now we know already what happens when you're under the curse. It just gets worse as you go along. It's not going to get better for these people. It's going to get worse. And then when 2022 comes, it's going to be worse than 2021 and 2020. All right, y'all, please enjoy the rest of your day. And, maybe we can meet up again tomorrow and go over a different story. Shalom, family.